Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WCS Season 2 Finals. Getting very close now to our grand final, and we know our members of that grand final is going to be Bomber versus Jaedong. Before we get there, though, we have some very special guests in the house. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and make some noise for the Senior Esports Manager at Blizzard, Miss Kim Pham. How you doing, Kim? It's great to have you here, by the way. We're really privileged to have you with us. It's great that you can make it all the way over.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you about WCS as a whole, Season 2, the finals in particular right now. How's it been for you? What have you enjoyed?
I think I've enjoyed just about everything here today. If I can list all the things, definitely the crowd has been amazing. The viewership at home also has been great. I heard just yesterday we hit over 106,000 views on Twitch on just the English stream alone. So if you add up the 7 language streams and everything else, it's been amazing. If you're following social media, Twitter and Facebook and Reddit, everyone's been talking about the amazing production here that you guys have put on. I love it. Like, the stage looks great. Everything that you have done has been amazing. But I think what has really stolen the show are the players and the matches. That's probably the most exciting thing about the season finals. You have all these great storylines, all these great matches, upsets yesterday, and then today, you know, it's been amazing matches too. Just Bomber versus Tasia was nail biting. I think that's how I can describe all the matches have been nail biting.
Awesome. Yeah, no, you're right. They have been fantastic all the way through. We've been very lucky this weekend. Looking ahead now, just before we go into the grand final here to Season 3, we've still plenty of excitement left in the seasons this year for the 3 seasons that we've had. What are we looking forward to in Season 3?
So for the past 2 seasons, we've had continuous exciting StarCraft esports matches all year long in 3 different regions, and a lot of cool storylines have developed from that. I think you can expect the same thing. I hope to expect the same thing. One of the amazing things here as well are the commentators. Great lineup of casters, so I hope to see them carry through and explain to everybody at home how to understand the matches, because again, you have to tell your friends, tell everyone else to follow StarCraft, because it's just so great. And then in Season 3, we've already announced our Season 3 finals. This event has been so exciting, so I know you're looking forward to the next season finals, which will be hosted by NASL and announced that it will take place in Toronto, Canada. So the dates on that have also been released. It's the last weekend of October 26th and 27th. So if you want to experience that, you know, make your plans and book your travel to go to the Season 3 finals.
Yeah, very cool indeed. And then finally, at the end of the year, what all these players have been working for the last 3 seasons, what will be 3 seasons by then, the BlizzCon finals, which I'm already hyped for it now, and it's a few months away. It's the top 16 players across all 3 seasons, the ones with the most points, go to BlizzCon finals.
BlizzCon by far is one of my most favorite events. I love BlizzCon, and it's great to have the global finals take place there. So 3 seasons total, all the points that the players have accumulated will add up to the world ranking of WCS, and the top 16 players will have that final seat there at the global finals. And so from there, we will crown the world champion of StarCraft 2. And that's really the greatest thing to look forward to. The last time we had BlizzCon was in 2011, where we had an electric match of the GSL finals. We had an invitational there, and everybody loved it. So I hope to recapture that same magic with the World Championship Series there, and I think that it's gonna be like this, and hopefully even better.
That's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Pham.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. Very kind of you. Okay, we also have another special guest in the audience. He's a personal friend of mine, and we've hung out a few times, but this time we've decided to give him over to Chobra. So Chobra, who have you got over there?
It's an honor to be sitting next to this great man. Yeah, you guys all know who it is. It's White Raw sitting next to me. It really is an honor to sit next to you and get to talk to you, but how have you been enjoying the tournament so far?
This is amazing tournament. We have already so many games, and I really happy to see Jaedong in final, because I think he deserves more when rest take this cup.
Yeah, Jaedong's come a long way, and he's shown really good performance. Let's talk about these players a little bit. Now, I know some call you the grandfather of esports players, but back in Korea, Bomber also this time was highlighted for being the oldest player in WCS Korea Season 2. Some might even say Jaedong is kind of in the later half of, age group for professional StarCraft 2 players. Do you think, first of all, in your eyes, do you think they're kind of hitting that old mark? And is that a hindrance, or does that actually give them more respect, because it is an obstacle that you need to overcome?
I think it gives more respect, and they play more smarter. They have huge experience, and they come both from Brood War. So it's be very interesting final, because Bomber play in StarCraft like professional, and especially Jaedong. So very exciting.
And you've been highlighting Jaedong a lot during this interview so far already. So are you calling Jaedong to win this tournament, or it's hard to tell, but you would like Jaedong to win?
I like Jaedong to win a little bit more, because like I told before, I think he deserves this.
And Jaedong said it yesterday himself. He said the Tyrant is back, and he sounded very convincing. Now, Bomber just got out from a very intense 3-2 against Tasia, while Jaedong had a 3-0 semifinal. Do you believe that really gives Jaedong more momentum, because Bomber is a little bit tired right now, exhausted?
I think Koreans have a lot of practice. They play like 50, 60 games per day, so it's not big deal. He just take rest near 1 hour, and we can see new Bomber. Like he not play any games today.
All right, so those are some thoughts and words from White Raw. What an honor it was to talk to him. Again, give him another big round of applause, guys. And we're about to go in to the grand finals, the biggest match this weekend. But we're going to have a little bit of fun first. Let's check out what all these players want to be if they were to be a superhero.
Superhero? Yeah. This is tough one.
Iron Man.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Superman? 우리 아버지.
And welcome back to WCS Season 2 Finals. Oh my goodness me. Jobra, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you all weekend. I don't even know how to describe this finals, because it is going to be so exciting. Watching these two players that haven't won that tournament, they've always been the bridesmaids. I mean, we almost nicknamed this the bridesmaid final, because one of them's got to win now.
Yeah, it's one of their moment for sure, but one of them is going to have to live with that burden of saying, I was so close, and I still have to carry this until the next big stage I reach.
Okay, let's introduce you to the two players. In fact, let's look at the matchup just to give you the statistics and explain where we are right now. Bomber ranked 7 on the WCS global rank, and Jaedong climbing all the way up to rank number 2. Oh my word. This is it, ladies and gents. It's time for the grand finals. Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
The grand finals of WCS Season 2 are about to kick off. And the first player we will invite to the stage, we just saw him take out Tasia in a 3-2. We saw him take out Scarlet yesterday in a close 3-2. And does he have more tricks up his sleeve? We'll have to wait and find out. It's going to be from WCS Korea, Startail Bomber.
Going up against Bomber, a man who has reached many finals, but for some reason has never quite got to the end goal of winning a trophy. The Tyrant is officially back, ladies and gentlemen. Raise your dongers for Evil Genius's Jaedong! Okay, it's time to find out which of these two hates losing the most. It's time to go to your commentary team for the final. Please make some noise for the A team, Apollo and Atosis.
Thank you so much, Red Eye and Chobra. This is the finals, Apollo.
This is the finals. We've had 3 long days, 16 incredible players. Now there are only 2 remaining. And what are 2 that we have in front of us?
This is amazing. As I said, the bridesmaids. These guys haven't won anything in StarCraft 2. At least Bomber hasn't in a very long time. Jaedong just hasn't yet.
Yeah, Jaedong hasn't yet, but is this his time? This is his 4th StarCraft 2 final in a very short period of time. Will he be able to pick up a first place finish? On the other side of things, of course, Bomber not won a tournament in over 2 years, or exactly 2 years from now.
Exactly 2 years. 2 years ago this weekend, Bomber won his only StarCraft 2 tournament, MLG Raleigh 2011. This weekend, Apollo.
And ever since that weekend, Autosis, there's been a lot of fans supporting Bomber, loving Bomber as a player, but he has not gotten there yet again. He always disappoints his fans. He sometimes brings out great games, but then falls short in a round of 8, in a round of 16. But he is finally back in a finals, and we're about to see how this can kick off. Remember, this is going to be a best of 7 in the grand finals. There is no vetoes here, Autosis. You must play every single map.
Every map. It's a crazy thing. A best of 7 is really going to show us who is the better player on this day. And for either of them, this is the biggest achievement in their StarCraft 2 career.
Absolutely, because right now, Jaedong, funnily to say this, sits as ranked number 2 in the entire world with the WCS point system. With his performance here, getting into the finals, through being in the finals of the North American Premier League, he sits at number 2, right behind Innovation. With a victory here, he would officially become the world's number 1.
And as soon as he would possibly hit that, we can pretty much guarantee he would be at BlizzCon. There would be no way for 16 people to actually pass him. A big win indeed, but Bomber not quite as far up.
Yeah, he's only ranked 8th at the moment. He finished top 8 in the WCS Korean Premier League Season 1. Not quite enough to make it to the season finals, but he got a top 4 this season and is in the Season 2 finals. It is about to happen. There's the handshake right in front of the trophy as both players make it to their booth. And oh boy, what a finals are we going to have here. All 7 maps could be played out. Both players having a fantastic run to the finals so far.
They have played brilliantly, both of them beating so many world-class champion players, which is the funny part here, Apollo. They have both beaten so many players that are multiple-time champions in StarCraft 2, whereas both of them struggling so much to pick that championship up themselves.
Jaedong has overcome his biggest problem in StarCraft 2, which was playing against Protoss. He's beaten Rain, MC, Naniwa, and finally First today. But he has to go back to a matchup right before coming here that he lost 0-4, 4 games in a row to Pult in the WCS America Premier League Finals.
That's a big deal, and that's a big consideration, especially since he had an only Protoss group coming into this tournament, and he most likely practiced mostly Zerg versus Protoss.
All right, well, here are the 7 maps in the order that they'll be played. Can you maybe look at these maps and maybe dictate the pace of how this is going to go? Is it going to start fast paced? Is it going to start aggressive? Is the aggression going to pick up halfway through? Is it towards the end?
You know, I feel like we see a lot of macro games on Newkirk Precinct overall, so we could start off with that macro play, but let's not forget that Bomber has a huge range in his play in every matchup, including TVZ, like we saw against Scarlet last night.
Yeah, he played some great games there against Scarlet, and Jaedong is going to have to bring a better performance, very easy, very clearly, has to bring a better performance here if he wants to be able to win the entire tournament. Can Jaedong, as you see on screen right now, finally win something in StarCraft 2? It's been a long time, and I think White Ross summed it up the most. Jaedong, he wants Jaedong to win because Jaedong deserves it the most. The amount of effort, the amount of times he's come so close but so far. Finally, this must be his time.
It must be, Apollo. I mean, this guy, for anyone who's brand new to StarCraft 2 and has not heard the legend, he was originally not known as the Tyrant, but the Legend Killer. He rose up in StarCraft 1 quicker than almost anyone we ever saw in its history and beat everybody that was a legend, became a multiple-time champion and the best Zerg of all time. Here in StarCraft 2, it's actually taking him a lot longer.
It's taken him a lot longer, but is he finally there? He understands Zerg versus Zerg, there's no question about it, as we can see that in his win percentages. He's got a pretty decent record against Terran, and his Protoss is only rising, because that started at sub 50% coming into this tournament, and through the names that you see on screen, that's risen above 50 and approaching 60%, which is a decent all-round percentage. But it's now time for Jaedong to finally grab what's his, but there's one man alone, one final individual that he has to beat if this is gonna come true.
And to be fair, Bomber has certainly put in his fair share of hard work, Apollo. He too was a StarCraft 1 pro gamer for many, many years, but he was a B-teamer, someone who didn't win championships, someone who was not famous. At times, he was even kicked out of his pro team and told, go practice at home, you're not good enough. But he kept with it, he made the transition to StarCraft 2, became one of the best, but hasn't had that final level of success yet.
Well, 2013 is a new year for both of these players. They've had different levels of success, but it all comes down to this grand finals, and we're about to see if either one of these players, which one's going to be able to pick it up. Bomber not having the best results against Zerg, but let's just forget stats for a little while here and look at how he played, which you casted yesterday against Scarlet. Every single game, a different type of opening to throw his opponent off into solid mechanics, getting the barracks lights turned on, keeping them turned on, running that electricity bill up, because all he did was pump out units, expand behind it, and never, ever let go.
And you know what? I think he played so brilliantly, Apollo, because he was switching his strategies, as you said, as he needed to do, and he was also figuring out the way Scarlet was playing in the meantime. He was adjusting to counter that. So there's going to have to be more than just pure mechanics or pure skill here. There are going to be mind games going on between Jaedong and Bomber, two players that have shown they're very good at those.
And of course, this is the map that they will play on. Everybody should know Newkirk. If you do not know by now, there's a small airspace between the both players. We could see Jaedong utilize that for his Mulus. We could see Bomber utilize it for his drops. It is difficult to defend your third base as well, sometimes as well as the main, but that's where Jaedong's Mulus are going to become a big, big problem. But you said this map plays out long. We could see an amazing game to beginners here, Autosis.
We could indeed, or maybe a cheese, you never know. It's sometimes good to throw your opponent off, but I hope you guys are getting hype right now. By the way, everyone at home, get on Twitter, hashtag WCS, let's get it trending. Let's get everybody watching the finals of the year. Bomber against Jaedong.
All the hard work through Season 2 is now here in the Grand Finals. This is map number 1 of a potential 7 down here in the bottom left, playing for Team Startail as the Red Terran. It's Bomber!
And down in the bottom right, he said it himself, the Tyrant returns. Make some noise for EG's Jaedong!
3 days of hard work, 16 absolutely world-class players, $150,000 tournament, 17,000 WCS points were on the line. Now, as these two players have reached the final, they're guaranteed $20,000 with their second place, but of course a winner, Artosis, doubles that, $40,000 for the winner of this game.
You know what? That is a huge amount of money, a life-changing amount of money for most. But I think that this game, this series, isn't about that money. It's not about the WCS points. This, for these two players, is about getting that monkey off their back and winning a major title.
And I cannot stress how important emotionally it is for both of these players. Bomber without a win in over 2 years, or 2 years exactly, sorry, and Jaedong without a StarCraft 2 win at all. So close, so many times. 2 DreamHack finals, the North American Premier League final, and now this one. If he was to fall short second again, I don't know what that would do to him, Artosis. There's only so many times you can have money under the end of that rod in front of him.
It is so true, Apollo. You know, he's just going to get angrier and angrier. He's got to win a tournament eventually, but this is really the one that you want to win. The only tournament that's more important than this year would be BlizzCon itself.
Both of these players looking to be able to play at BlizzCon as well, but we do have the game now starting to get underway. Bomber choosing a classic strategy, command center first, followed by the barracks, and then the gas right behind it, and Jaedong's picked up all the information necessary. And as kind of predicted, a slower start to game number 1 here. Both players looking for the time being to play this out a little bit longer, but there is one difference compared to the normal playstyle that we see from both races, is that Jaedong's opted for a very, very early Zergling speed.
You know, that Zergling speed definitely could come into play here. If Bomber doesn't figure out that that's coming so fast, then he may not have his wall up all the way. If he doesn't know it's coming, you can get in there, maybe pick off a mule or 2, some SCVs, force a lift, maybe even kill some Marines. There is a possibility that Jaedong can get off to an early lead.
We talked about Bomber's games yesterday against Scarlet with his different openings each time to throw his opponent off. But Jaedong, just coming off the semi-final, was on top of his scouting, saw absolutely everything before it even begun. That surely must give him an edge, a slight edge against Bomber in this series.
I think I have to agree with you there, Apollo, and that speed is finishing up pretty quickly here. We'll be seeing if he's going to make a lot of Zerglings rather soon. And if he does, if we do see that plume of Zerglings, I'm getting a little bit afraid for Bomber. He really doesn't have much intel right now.
Well, Jaedong pokes up there and sees that there has not been a wall constructed around him there. There are 16 Zerglings do come in, but 2 supply depots have been thrown around the bunker so far. Is he going to complete the wall off in time?
You know what? We'll see if he actually adds, and it looks like he's adding the depots. This could turn out bad for Jaedong.
It's not too much of an overinvestment, but still, 16 Zerglings is a lot in the first place here. And with 1 supply depot, which should come down here, Bomber just shuts the wall. And if, well, okay, make sure that is actually shut here. And that's a waste of 16 Zerglings here. And Bomber, upon seeing this, will have a grin on his face. He will be like, all right, this is a good start for me.
All right, well, Jaedong looks like he's about to poke up and see what's going on. And it looks like he finally does realize that, in fact, there is a full wall, and with Hellions behind it, he must run away. So this actually puts Bomber in a slight economical advantage as far as the early game goes.
Absolutely, because those 16 Zerglings that were made absolutely could have been 8 additional drones been thrown in. He didn't need to have all of these Zerglings. They've done nothing for him. And then Bomber on the other side of things, he's set up quite nicely. He's got a 3rd command center down as well. And this is definitely a bit of an advantage for the StarTale player to start this series off.
Well, his Zerglings may still turn out useful. We'll see if he can get us around on these Hellions, but the Hellions coming down, attacking the Zerglings, and Jaedong having to retreat, Bomber on top of things.
12 more Zerglings are coming out from Jaedong to make sure he can deal with these Hellions. Ideal would love us around, but he is losing Zerglings left and right here. So far, so good for Bomber, who's thrown down double barracks behind this, double engineering bay as well to make sure he can upgrade his units. Jaedong just about to start with his 1-1 upgrades as well here.
Well, we'll see what can get done with these Hellions. He wants to prevent as much creep spread as possible, but that's why those extra lings were made. Jaedong wants to have enough lings to kill the Hellions if they overcommit and chase them back so the creep can be made, and here we go. He's going for this round, overthinks it, and goes past those Hellions, but it looks like he catches at least 1 so far.
One's gone down, a second one and third one are going to get surrounded here, and Jaedong will clean up 3 of the 4 and probably get the 4th here momentarily. And finally he is able to get rid of these Hellions as Bomber realizes that one's not going to do anything more and just throws it onto the edge of creep. But now we're really set up. Jaedong's droning, he's taken all the gases, he's got his layer on the way a little bit slow with his +1 carapace there. It's a little bit not together, a little bit disjointed. A scan does come down here from Bomber, which sees double evolution chamber, sees the gas is thrown in. He knows that he's not playing up against aggression here with that scan.
That is exactly true. Probably nothing coming after him anytime soon, at least until after layer with those extra gases. So Bomber can calm down with any defenses, but he is making additional siege tanks here. And with those siege tanks, you know, yeah, you're going to be very safe, but with no aggression incoming and a very likely Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk composition, it's not really going to be that helpful.
Well, I mean, what do you reckon the choice is here? What's the reasoning for tanks over the traditional, what we see game after game, Widow Mines coming out here? He's chosen it for a reason, surely.
Yeah, you know, I feel like it's a safety measure, but Bomber is an old school StarCraft 2 player. I know that he's very comfortable using siege tanks in the matchup, but it does make me a bit afraid, because if I look at these upgrades, Apollo, look at this. He's getting Burrow and he's getting the Spire. So we're actually going to see things such as Zerglings burrowed on movement paths. We're going to see just a great creep spread. Baneling speed, no doubt, going to come soon. I mean, this is going to be a very hard game to win with a siege tank-based composition.
Well, we'll see how that's going to work out here for Bomber as Jaedong takes a fourth as well. But we do have a Medivac drop on the way here for Bomber, utilizing that airspace in between the bases that we talked about before. And he's going to drop just outside the vision here of Jaedong, who doesn't quite know that it's there. Oh, no, actually, sorry, excuse me, he does see it, so this shouldn't really do anything.
Yeah, looks like he will be able to clean that up pretty easily. But Bomber's got to be out on the map showing himself like this. One thing I do want to know is that Jaedong hasn't actually started Baneling speed yet, so it's a little bit scary.
Yeah, that's something he's going to have to get now, and +2 carapace as well is missing as he throws a lot of money, a lot of his gas into 10 Mutalisk now, making sure that he can deal with these drops, deal with those tanks. Widowmine production has begun as well as a second factory here, so Bomber is switching things up a little bit. But we're about to see Bomber really ramp it up a couple of levels. He's going to start dropping. He's got him 2 Medivacs here where he can deny creep, pick off loose units, pick up if anything happens to his units if they were to get surrounded.
Well, he is pushing forward. We should be seeing that scan. There it goes down, starting to get rid of some of these tumors, but a lot of Lings and Banes coming along with the Mutas. He's going to have to boost out of there. And if he goes too far, the Mutas will clean up little parties like that.
Still no Baneling speed here, though. +2 carapaces come in. So far, Jaedong's forgot about it. That's going to mean that his Baneling's going to have a very hard time connecting. Remember, though, that there's like 3 or 4 tanks. There's a lot of Widow Mines coming out now. So he's really actually going to need Baneling speed to engage properly. Any fight that Bomber takes, and at this point, Bomber's not ready to fight, but he will be, I'd say, in the next 60 seconds because his 2 swap upgrades are about to complete. And as these complete is when Bomber gets really hungry to start doing damage over to Jaedong, especially because Jaedong has a base, you know, almost in the center of the map. Baneling speed now just starting.
And you know what?
Just in time, maybe.
Jaedong right now, Apollo, is on 81 drones, so he is all about units. He's going to have his 2-2, and when that Baneling speed does start, Bomber has to be careful if he's out in the map, because without a high Widow Mine count, we could see Jaedong just run him over like we saw before from Scarlet in so many games this weekend.
Well, Baneling speed isn't ready. Jaedong cannot really engage without Baneling speed being ready there, so we'll have to wait for that to complete before Jaedong can take a good fight. If he takes one without it, it's going to be a lot easier for Bomber to take a fight. There are 2 board Banelings there.
Ooh.
Jaedong looking for the best orb.
This could turn out to be big, and he does scan, gets rid of it, but the Baneling speed is not ready, as you said, Apollo. He does have to pull back for now.
And this is going to allow Bomber to get into a very good position here. Widow Mines around the tanks as well. This is excellent for Bomber. And Jaedong, through forgetting Baneling speed here, this has put him in a bit of a disastrous position. Bomber's taking the high ground. Bomber's going to spread his units around here and look for a siege onto this base for Jaedong. Jaedong has to flank. He has to come in at the right time, at the right angle.
Well, the Baneling speed has finally finished, and here we go. Jaedong going in, picking off a few units, some Widow Mines and a siege tank, not taking too much damage.
Here he comes, Autosis from a couple of angles. This is how Jaedong's going to try to defend. I think Bomber may be okay here.
A huge mine hit right there, but Jaedong with so many Banelings rolling in, cleaning up just about every Marine.
There's a couple here at the back. One Baneling does get in there. The Mutalisk are going to chase this away, but more and more units are coming from Bomber, and the Mutalisk are taking damage. Bomber's on the forward roll, and Jaedong's got to be careful here. He's morphing a couple more Banelings, 11 to be exact, but they're not ready yet. Bomber sees them morphing. I think he should try to get in there to prevent them from actually coming out of the cocoons, and well, they're all getting killed off here, Autosis. This is disastrous.
That is so painful. He can't be losing this 4th base, Apollo. It's so important to have 4 bases against the 3 of your opponent playing Mutiling Bane, but Jaedong is going to lose it.
Look at the mini-map, the just red stream of units from Bomber coming across. Jaedong's going to attempt to defend one more time. Bomber spreads his units behind the mineral lines. Jaedong is going to clear it up for now, but remember, all the units still coming for Bomber, and they're only just now getting into the fight. And look at that spread as well from Bomber, taking a supply lead. He's killed off the base from Jaedong. He does have another one up north here, and 11 more Mulas coming out. But Jaedong needs a big engagement, otherwise Bomber's momentum's going to carry him through.
It truly is. There's just not many Zerglings, only 2 out on the map and 2 Banes as well. Some are trying to morph, but he's got a mostly Mutalist-based army, and against these 2/2 Marines with Widow Mines, it's impossible to fully engage.
Yeah, Bomber's just put Jaedong on the back foot, on the ropes, as some may say. Jaedong's trying to fight back, trying to look for a cost-efficient engagement. This is not it as Bomber comes in. And Bomber looking to start off like he wants to take series and map number way away from Jaedong, who's fighting head-on with Mulas. They are not going to do very well. GG.
Bomber taking game number 1 against Jaedong with his very good standard macro play. Jaedong, on the other hand, though, Apollo, for getting that Baneling speed for so long really hurt him there. You have to engage the Terran before they set up.
Jaedong, a couple of mistakes there. The first initial decision to make 16 Zerglings did not pay off. Baneling speed was not on time. Not on time. Zerg players build the Baneling nest at halfway of the layer's completion to upgrade as soon as the layer is done. Jaedong forgot about it. It allowed Bomber to get in position, and at this level, Autosis, at this level of StarCraft 2 at the Season 2 finals, is a player like Bomber not going to take advantage of a player like Jaedong's mistakes?
That is going to occur, Apollo, but I wouldn't worry too much about Jaedong if I were you. You know, Jaedong has won more tournaments than most players have even participated in as far as his Brood War career goes. This guy is no stranger to pressure. He knows he made a mistake. He knows it was a dumb mistake, and he's not going to make it again.
Best of 7 here, first player to get 4 wins. This is a long series. Game number 1 scratched in favor of Bomber, but this is only going to continue as we get ready to load into our next map here, which is Star Station.
Star Station, well, the third base is very wide open, and that can work in either player's favor. Whoever is the aggressor is going to be able to get in there and mix it up a lot easier than other maps.
Well, one thing that we've seen through Jaedong this weekend, he's not afraid to mix things up, whether it be standard play, aggression, defense, completely crazy strategies. Anything's possible from Jaedong, but Bomber is just the statue, the solid statue of a Terran Marine here, man, just ready to play normal, ready to play solid, and ready to start this next map. As down here in the bottom left is the red Terran player. Please make some noise for Star Tail Bomber.
His opponent in the top right, he needs your support. It's EG Jaedong.
What a series we've got here in front of us.
Oh my.
Lucky us, Autosis, lucky us.
Seriously, guys, get on those internets. Let your friends know on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, and anything else that you happen to use. Let them know that this is going on. WCS Season 2 Finals, the biggest tournament of the year to date, and God, has it been the best so far.
It has been absolutely fantastic. We've seen some amazing games. We've seen the #1 ranked player in the world, Innovation, being knocked out in the first round here in the round of 16. When we've seen some upsets, I don't think too many people expected Jaedong and Bomber to be in the finals. Let's just say that, together as a package.
Absolutely not. I think very few people have believed this indeed. In fact, Zerg was expected not to even do well. Only 2 Zergs entered this tournament. Scarlet made it all the way to the round 8. Here Jaedong is in the finals, possibly going to win, but first, he has to win 4 games out of the next 6.
Imagine if he did it just in a row, just won it 4-1. That would be one way to win, wouldn't it?
Hey, I guess that would be a way to assert your dominance, being the tyrant himself.
All right, Autosis, coming into map number 2 now. I have a feeling here that considering game number 1 was decided on very small mistakes, which are very easily adjusted, on Jaedong's side of things, I don't think he's going to change anything. And likewise from Bomber, who's going to be like, all right, I'm comfortable with how things went in game number 1.
Well, it certainly looks like Bomber's going to do exactly the same thing. As far as Jaedong goes, I think he might play maybe a bit more economical. You know, Bomber had that very wide choke to his natural expansion, Newkirk Precinct. The choke here isn't quite as bad. There's no way that getting quick speed is going to be able to punish Bomber. Jaedong tested him, Bomber passed the test. So this game, I think Jaedong's going to actually look a lot better when that push comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't taken the extractor, he hasn't done anything along those lines. But look at this over on this side. Bomber kind of playing a little bit more greedy, because if we just remember to game number 1, he took a single refinery, so the small adjustments coming from both sides here. Bomber, without taking a refinery to start to bring in gas, gets a much, much earlier third command center.
You know what, it's funny because in the first game, they were both macro builds with things built in to punish an over-greedy opponent. Here, they've both gone for a much more macro-heavy play. Both skipping those things, a little bit more risky, but overall, these two builds are going to match up against each other pretty well.
So we should, the way that things are looking, see this develop into another kind of long game.
I think so, I really do, and that's good. I want to see these two macroed out once again, but hold on, we have these Zerglings going in the main base. SCV's having to be pulled to hold them back, but these are not going to do much more than scout for Jaedong.
But he, as soon as he saw the third command center, I'm not too sure if we can read into it deep enough, but he threw down extractors immediately. As soon as the Zerglings saw the third command center, could this be a sign of potential aggression here?
I think it has to be, Apollo. I think it has to be. What else would that be for? Well, is he going to make a hatchery here? It looks like he is.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's interesting. That the only thing that can mean then is getting quick speed.
Yeah, getting quick speed, depending on the style he wants to play, whether it's Roach Hydra, he could decide to upgrade off double evolution chambers a little bit earlier if he was going to rely on Roaches more so than Zerglings, but that's not a style we do see from Jaedong very often here. He could throw down a Roach Warren and a Bailey Nest at the same time, but it is going to be double evolution chamber. And if he was to research speed at this very time, then it would pull away from the fact that as these evolution chambers finish, he won't have the right gas to research 1-1. Are we going to see Jaedong mix things up? Or is he just going to skip gas for the speed to get earlier Zergling upgrades and then get speed later on?
Well, I think he's looking at this and he studied what Bomber did, because Bomber did this very same build before in this tournament against Scarlet. So he's looking at this and saying, okay, I know what you're doing. I'm going to get better upgrades. We'll play the macro game. You're a little bit ahead economy-wise, but I'll get ahead upgrade-wise, and things will be basically even again.
All right, just looking at the build of Bomber here, who's playing very safe with a barracks wall off on his natural. Interesting, though, he's only thrown down a single engineering bay, not double, which is very normal to what we usually see here.
Yeah, this is definitely a change from before. I'm really wondering what it has to be for attack. Does this, could he be going for something, a very old build, something like massive Marines and siege tanks with attack upgrades?
Well, he's got the factory coming down here. The attack upgrades coming in for the bio, and the second engineering bay is started here. So just a little bit of a difference, a bit of an adjustment there, but it's set up quite well here. And with the barracks coming down nice and early here for Bomber, he's going to have quite a few Marines coming out quite fast.
Oh, he certainly is.
And they all got reactors on them too.
Well, that is Bomber for you. When he lands at third command center, expect him to be making 15 Marines at a time non-stop. But Jaedong, we know that this guy knows how to macro. This is one of the fastest Zergs in the entire world. And as his lair finishes up and he begins that Baneling speed, I'm sure that's going to be top on his list, gets the Spire going, I do expect to see some macro hatches starting to go up.
I think Bomber playing overly safe, adding on the extra barracks to protect his natural, has slowed him down a little bit to where he potentially could have been, because with the engineering base being a little bit later on in this game, look at the upgrade disparity between the both of them. We have 1-1 just kind of on its way for Bomber, but 1-1's completing for Jaedong, and the layer is done. He's got more than enough gas in the bank to throw down 2-2 immediately here.
And you know that he's going to do that exactly. Baneling speed starting right after that Spire as well. This is looking really nice for Jaedong. Look at that beautiful production tab. He's getting absolutely everything he needs to go deeper in the game, and bam, there goes the fourth base. And I would be very surprised if we don't see that macro hatch going up very soon.
And with Jaedong getting Baneling speed here, he's adjusted everything from game number 1. There was no early 16 Zerglings and Zergling speed, just full focus on economy, and even getting the Baneling speed now coming in. But are you not afraid of Bomber's upgrades being a little bit slower in this game? Sure, he's got a lot of barracks, he's got a lot of production and decent economy, but with 2-2 so rapid here from Jaedong, who cut out Zergling speed, that's going to mean that he's going to be taking a lot more cost-efficient fights.
That's right. You know, he's going to be ahead on upgrades for much of the game, possibly all of it. We're going to have to see about that, though, because, you know, he plays a little bit different from Scarlet. We saw from Scarlet she stays on that layer tech, and Bomber's very used to playing against that now since he played her 5 times last night. But Jaedong previously went for a quicker hive in the last game. Now, will he go for that to keep those upgrades moving forward, or is he just going to really commit to Ling Bane Mute on layer tech?
Well, as Baneling Speed's about to finish here on this left-hand side, Jaedong's going to attempt to do something to Bomber's third base. It's not going to work here, as well as a drop coming in. The wall-off is beautiful. Well, actually, I say the wall is beautiful. He opens a gap here. The SCVs, though, are pulled off in a timely manner, so this does not work either for Jaedong.
Hiding the Banelings behind. In the meantime, this medevac drop being cleaned up perfectly by Jaedong. And not the most effective harassment, but it's actually all right. Kills a geyser, a few SCVs, some mules, stops mining time. It's a decent little attack.
It's decent, especially considering Bomber threw resources into something his own, and that didn't work, and Jaedong kind of did, so that's not bad for Jaedong there.
Well, Jaedong's starting to move on the map. Once again, take a look at this creep spread, Apollo. Absolute madness in every direction it's coming out. This is going to be hard for Bomber to deal with.
Jaedong set up very nicely here with a lot of Banelings, great upgrades, Mutalisk here as well. Surely Bomber, though, without disturbing Jaedong at all, he's going to be in a rough situation when he finally decides to move out here, unless he finds, you know, a great engagement, finds some way to force a mistake from Jaedong. So far, though, Jaedong seems to be ruling this game, and Bomber could be in a bit of trouble when he does decide to move out, considering the upgrade timing that you'd usually want to move out with them. They're very far behind.
You know, Bomber is definitely setting up for his never-ending parade push. Just a constant attack with perfect macro behind it, spending every mineral and staying maxed out. Now, how well can he do that? He's starting to move out, scanning that creep, but Jaedong has a lot of units in the middle of the map.
Yeah, both of these players have a lot of units here. We're going to have to see if Jaedong can flank this well. He's going to come from the right-hand side and the left-hand side all at the same time. He's going to filter through one way, though, and there's a lot of tanks and Widow Mines. We'll see how this can work for Jaedong. His Banelings are clumped up. I don't think he's getting the best trade-offs here.
Well, he's killing the Marines on the right-hand side and not losing the mutas, so it's not a travesty that we're watching here. But Bomber pushing forward hasn't lost a considerable amount of his army.
And well, Jaedong does return back to meet up with 42 new Zerglings to attempt another attack here as Bomber sets himself up to continue to push forward. Now his +2 armor's on its way. Is Jaedong going to be able to use these Mutalisks to pick off a couple of tanks here?
He may be able to, coming in from the side, targeting those siege tanks on Amelia. A lot of Widow Mines, but the Widow Mines even get taken out there. The Overseer's eating the Widow Mine shots. A nice engagement by Jaedong.
Nice engagement from Jaedong, and Bomber has to go through different layers of Jaedong's army, and here comes another one. There's no tanks this time. There's a couple of Widow Mines that do get buried in here. The Banelings do not get the best hits, and Jaedong must retreat once again. But more and more Zerglings. There's a lot of Queen Lava injects going on across the map. There's a lot of lava for Jaedong to mess around with, but he must not let Bomber break far enough to get to this base at the north.
I don't think Bomber's going to be able to quite make it in. Well, some of the Mutalisks coming down, but Baneling's rolling in. He will clean it up. And you know what, Apollo? These are nice moves by Jaedong. He's keeping that Widow Mine count so low that his Lings and Banelings can actually close against these Marines.
And Bomber, without a fourth command center here, is really focusing on just pushing forward, really hammering up this left-hand side. If he can, well, basically Bomber's goal is to break Jaedong and get towards that fourth base. Jaedong's opposite side of things, keep on defending, because Mutalisk and Mutalisk, with the upgrades coming in, will become more and more efficient, because then he's not losing them. He's killing units, but not losing them. So that kind of seems the way that this game is going to play on for the next few minutes.
You know, one of the hardest things about fighting against Widow Mine Marine Medevac is doing counterattacks at the same time. It looks like he's going for that again, though. Ooh. A lot of Banelings rolling down towards that third base. There's a possibility for quite a bit of damage we've done here. Going through those depots, a quick response by Bomber, running the SCVs away, though.
Yeah, Jaedong didn't really do anything with those. Does borrow them, so he's going to have to force a scan out, I suppose, but not the best of use of his Banelings there, considering he needs everything he can get to be able to stop Bomber, who is going to continue to launch an assault, still without a fourth command center here. Very focused on 3 bases. One different difficulty level here that's going to come in from Bomber is when these 3-3 upgrades complete. that's gonna really hurt Jaedong in the fights.
It's gonna hurt him terribly badly. It's gonna be rough, but at least Jaedong, his hive is about to finish, so he can start his 3-3, but he will definitely be down in upgrades for quite a while.
Oh, what a spread of units here from Bomber. Widow Mines and Marines absolutely everywhere. He's got control of the Zelnoga Tower. Jaedong's gonna have to come in to fight this, but I think Bomber's spread too well. Can Jaedong do this here?
This is a beautiful spread. Bomber trying to come in for the kill, but hold on. Jaedong pushing his Zerglings through. Let's see how these mine connections actually end up going, and it looks like Jaedong not barely gonna get through. Too many Marines.
I mean, they trade off so equally between them, but right now Jaedong still needs Bailings. Bomber's getting closer and closer to the goal, which is breaking this 4th base down, and it looks like he's gonna do it. Bomber's gonna be able to break this 4th base down. Jaedong both in Bailings. If this 4th base goes down, this is amazing news for Bomber.
Oh, Bomber gonna go ahead and kill that hatchery. A great move by Bomber, his never-ending push, getting what it set out to do, the 4th base.
And now with +3 attack finishing and +3 armor about to finish as well, everything is crumbling here from Jaedong. He had one goal, was to protect that 4th base, and he failed. He failed at this time. But if he can trade off a lot of his units cost efficiently and re-establish a new base, maybe things can still work for Jaedong. But right now, Bomber's leading this game quite convincingly, I'd say.
He certainly is, and Jaedong going around hitting the resupply line here. He's going to be able to take these units out very easily, and look at this, he's leaving burrowed banelings behind so that if Bomber comes back, maybe he can get those huge detonations.
Bomber's not coming back though, Autosis. He's marching forward here. He's retreated from his 3rd base, and surely this means that Jaedong has to go back to defend.
I think he's going to have to. The drone's getting out, but 2 macro hatches, 3 queens already falling. In the meantime, he does kill that command center. A big move by Jaedong, but I think he's getting the worst end of this trade.
Yeah, maybe somehow if he can get all these banelings and cost efficiently trade against the Marines on the other side of the map. Jaedong saved his drones here, so if he can get a mining base up and running, right now there are 20 banelings on the map. A couple of them are burrowed.
Well, Bomber looks like he may end up going home with the army to rejoin up, or no, he's turning back around. I guess he wants to keep attacking with this, but Jaedong, he has to start crushing some of these armies or he's just going to lose.
Yeah, Jaedong is really in trouble here. 130 supply to a 98. It'd take a miracle here for Jaedong to be able to win this game. That would put him down 0-2 in this best of 7.
Well, right now the Muta's trying to hold off this reinforcement line. Bomber coming up both sides at once when this army joins forces.
There's 4 banelings there slightly to the right, but a scan goes down from Bomber. Excellent pick up there.
Wow. Really well done there by Bomber. This is the only way that Jaedong really has a chance to come back. We'll see if he can do it. Bomber pushing forward, starting to spread. A lot of Widow Mines in there.
And Bomber, what a beautiful spread. Jaedong's going to have to fight here. There's a couple of board banelings. They get picked up anyway. And Bomber is almost just confirming that this map is his. Jaedong must fight here. He cannot just keep running away. The spread is getting stronger and stronger for Bomber. He's even cutting off the reinforcements here. Jaedong is forced into a fight. He has to fight, otherwise he'll lose all his bases. But look at Jaedong. Where is he going? What is he doing?
I think he's accepted that fight is something he can't win. Probably 0% to win that and 1% to do a base trade or something, but I don't think it's even that, Apollo. Bomber is looking way too strong right now.
Bomber's playing so good here.
Look at that. That was some big explosions by the Widow Mines. And I think we're going to have to see a GG coming up pretty soon here from Jaedong.
Yeah, the only thing that's working in Jaedong's favor are those board banelings, but they are not going to pick up everything here. They get a good chunk of units, but still, even if all these banelings detonate correctly, it will not work. GG, and Startail Bomber takes a 2-0 lead in the grand finals.
That is a huge lead to start out with. Jaedong has to be frustrated at this point. You know, Bomber is playing very similarly to how we saw him play in the round of 8. And it's working so well. His macro is so precise that even when Jaedong got the upgrade advantage and a ridiculous creep spread, he couldn't stop Bomber's attacks.
All right, Coach Autosis, speak to me. Jaedong has finished 2nd place so many times. It's happening again. It's happening again. What does he need to do coming into map number 3 here? It is Neoplanet S for your information. What does Jaedong need to do to stop a 3-0 from happening where Bomber would be match point away.
It's getting difficult to say, Apollo, because at this point I feel like Bomber will be expecting something different. Maybe a Roaches, maybe a Roach Bane, something like that. Because that's what I would normally say. Okay, Jaedong, mix it up a little bit. Don't let this heavy Widowmine play get to you so much. But I feel like Bomber's going to be ready for that. I don't know what Jaedong's supposed to do here, Apollo.
Jaedong has had to overcome so many difficult tasks in his StarCraft 2 career so far. He stands in front of another one right now. Bomber is playing fantastic. Bomber's playing solid. He's playing the perfect game so far. 2-0 to Bomber. With one more win, if Bomber was to pick up this map is the most important map of all of them now.
Yes.
Everything that happened before doesn't matter. Jaedong needs this win, otherwise second place finishes may continue on.
And that would be a terrible funk to get into. Many players have gotten into it before and never come out. Well, as you can see, Neoplanet S is the map. It does have those 2 attack routes around the map, Apollo. They could come into play here.
The middle point stands out though. Terrans statistically have the highest win percentage on this map. Widowmines in both of these funneled attack paths. It's narrow. They get a lot more damage done. Likewise, Bailey's do as well. But if Jaedong doesn't do something to really throw Bomber off his game, I'm not too sure how this is going to go on.
No, he needs this win, Apollo. As you were saying, the most important map in the entire series now. He can't come back with the reverse all kill. It almost never occurs. Let's see if he can do it. Bomber going up against Jaedong.
Map number 3. Down here, currently leading 2-0, playing some superb Terran play. It is none other than Startail Bomber.
And his opponent in the top right, he needs your support more now than ever before. Make some noise for EG Jaedong.
With Jaedong only focusing on Protoss players so far, let's just have a look at what Bomber's had to focus on though. He started up with his first 2 games against Protoss players. He won both very easily. He then played a Zerg player in the likes of Scarlet before playing Tasia in the likes of Terran. He's played everything.
That is a fact. But before we talk about that, Apollo, look at what we're seeing here from Bomber. This is a double proxy racks, but don't be fooled. This isn't a double 11 racks, which is a very different build. This is a build with economy behind it. It's something that doesn't have to kill Jaedong, and you can tell that from how far away it is. It's in a location that he expects that Jaedong will not scout.
Jaedong in many different games though has mixed up his builds a little bit here. He's gone up to 16 drones so far. I'm not too sure he's expecting this. He's thrown down an extractor as well before getting the spawning pool, which is going to delay the spawning pool a little bit here, delaying his queen, delaying his zerglings. I mean, do you think Bomber can get damage done from this? The Overlord may even pick this up, but if the Overlord picks it up here, I don't think there's an escape path for the Overlord to get to.
Yeah, there's a very good chance he'll end up killing that Overlord if it does pick it up, which puts Jaedong even more behind. You know what? I think he can and will get at least some damage done here. And don't forget, if the damage starts to stack up, Bomber is not afraid to throw his SCVs in as well. But look at that. Jaedong has seen it, but Bomber did not.
And Jaedong keeps the Overlord alive, moves away, knows what's coming in time. Does, of course, keep mining gas here. That could be used for a counterattack possible.
You can always do a counter baneling attack. You can always go up for that Zergling speed as well. I'm not sure exactly what Jaedong is going to choose here, but one thing he has to do is get ready. Oh my God. It is the triple bunker rush here, Apollo. We haven't seen this since the days of Select.
We have not seen it in a long time, Artosis. But how well is Jaedong going to deal with it? He's got a spine crawler being built. Can he keep the hatchery alive here?
You know what? It's going to be a little bit rough with the triple bunker. You know, can he keep it alive? He might. He is getting the double queens. He is getting the double spine crawlers. But it's a really tough one, especially if we see more SCVs come out.
Well, we'll see if he can do this as Bomber pokes forward to try to cancel that third spine. doesn't get the job done as the Queen pokes out. A couple of SCVs are taking damage though. They can easily go in the bunker, so not too much of a problem there as they do repair each other. Jaedong's going to have to pull this defense off. Otherwise, the 3-0 may happen.
It could happen, and the reverse all kill in a best of 7 has only happened once in StarCraft 2 history, so let's hope for Jaedong's sake it does not occur, but Bomber's going for it right now. A good strategy choice, and the Spines are hitting these bunkers. Can he actually save that hatchery?
All right, we'll have to find out because the hatchery's taking a lot of damage here, as well as the Queens, as well as the hatchery. I love here the fact that he's not building Zerglings until now. He's got a lot of Queens out. They are starting to build up energy. One bunker's taking a lot of damage here, and it looks like it may fall just about. I mean, is it going to fall? Actually, I don't think it's taking enough damage without the Queens getting in there as well.
Yeah, the Queens are going to have to get in there. Oh, and he's going to lose it. The hatchery does go down. But this isn't over yet. He still needs to break this and maybe try a counterattack.
Well, there's 2 extra barracks behind this for Bomber. He's going to really increase his Marine count. He's not looking to play this game late.
No, he certainly is not.
Here we go.
This is it. He has to break through. The Zerglings coming up with the Queens. The Spinecrawler moving forward. So much repairing, so much damage output from these Marines, and Jaedong cannot break out.
All right, the Spinecrawler very low here, and well, there's so many Marines left. Even if the Queens are here, they're not doing that much damage. Even if the bunkers stood to fall, a mule comes in to help repair the bunkers here, and the Marines are getting into the Queens, and Bomber looks like he's going to open up with a 3-0 against Jaedong here. GG. Bomber is absolutely killing Jaedong.
This is a one-sided final so far, but as I always tell people, don't turn off the stream yet. Don't leave this area, because Jaedong is the type of player that can start a comeback.
This is going only one way, and that's in Bomber's favor. I cannot believe I did not expect Bomber to win the first 3 games. Jaedong, if he wants to overcome finishing in 2nd place time after time after time, must win 4 games in a row. Otherwise, Bomber is just clearly the best player at the Season 2 finals. Absolutely domination from him.
No, that's you can't really argue it. Winning every matchup. He's played against everyone. So Bomber is just on fire. And I have to say, I have to put this out there, Apollo. Way back, it was Bomber and MVP in the beginning of StarCraft 2 as 2 of the best Terrans that we really all looked up to as the greatest players in the world. And MVP set himself apart where Bomber fell off. But Bomber right now is looking like MVP did. His strategy choices in these matches is unparalleled. He's choosing exactly what to do. We have not seen a build like that in years. It was a beautiful choice for the map and the situation.
His games against Scarlet, mixing things up, his games against Jaedong, he's playing absolutely fantastic. And well, Jaedong needs to change things up here, Autosis.
He certainly does, because we all know Bomber is going to. I mean, how often do you see a TVZ without Hellions? Bomber showed us that on Star Station. How often do you see a TVT with 2 Raxes proxied way far away from the hatchery and the 3 bunkers going up? Bomber is on point with his strategies here, and Jaedong cannot just keep doing the same thing.
As you just saw, maybe, Bomber has stepped away and we'll just be taking a couple of moments break, which we will also do here. And when we return, so will map number 4. Can Jaedong make the comeback, or are we going to see Bomber 4-0 the Season 2 finals? We will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WCS Season 2 Grand Finals. 3-0 right now. Unbelievable by Bomber. Joined by Todd and Rotterdam, guys. I don't think any of us expected to be at this point where we're at match point, championship point for Bomber right now after 3 crazy maps. Todd, professional player's view now. 3-0 down. Jaedong's head. What does he do now to get back into this game?
I mean, Jaedong is a legend. He's a champion. He should know how to stay focused and stay calm and collected. But I mean, this is so hard for him right now to overcome this, to be able to completely forget the deficit he's at in this series. And I just want to share a little story for you guys. I think it was before yesterday, after Bomber played his group games, he came to me and he asked me, who do you think is going to take it? And I was a little bit surprised because usually nobody ever asks this to another player. Also, although I'm a caster here, I was a little bit surprised and I was like, well, you. And then now he's in the grand finals and leading 3-0 and I'm like, whoa, he really took my comment literally and he's bringing it, so I guess...
So we have you to blame for the 3-0 so far for Bomber. Well done.
Maybe.
I'm sure he's very happy with that. Kev, 3-0 down, as I said, it's a mind game now because Jaedong's been here before. He knows this feeling. Is that going to play any part in his thoughts right now, or can he block it out?
I am really worried actually, because we saw this as well in his grand finals against Paul, and I actually spoke quite a bit with Jaedong that night, and he was really disappointed. He was really quite devastated, but he also told me, he said, I fought really hard in game 1 and 2, and he's like, at that moment I was just kind of like, it's not gonna work today. He's like 3 and 4. I kind of just let it go. I think right now when he was down 0-2, I'm pretty sure that he still had the fighting spirit, and he still had a new game plan for Neoplanet S, but he never even had a chance to execute it. Like, it was just Bomber throwing at something crazy, something we haven't seen in almost 2 years by now. I mean, like on Cloud Kingdom you do that, and you know, the Muslim stream you see it all the time, and shout out to Ben. But other than that, you just don't see this stuff anymore. That must be so hard. You're down 2-0, you tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna do something, you know, I'm gonna do everything right this game, and then before you're even able to do something right, the game is over already. It is really tough. You're gonna have to take it one game at a time. He cannot think back. He definitely can't think about the last game, because that's just gonna hurt him even more.
I don't know, Kev.
I don't know, Paul.
Final words from both of you. Does Jaedong make a comeback now, or is this Bomber's game?
I think he definitely has the potential, so as unlikely as it is, it has happened before. We've seen a series where a player has come back from such a deficit, so I really hope he starts at least bringing it back, win a few games. If he can gain the momentum, he could actually completely reverse this. Imagine if Jaedong starts winning at just 2 games. It's going to cross Bomber's mind. Am I really going to lose this? Is he coming back right now? So I think he needs to win 1 or 2 games to start with, and then he's going to bring himself back into this. And if he can just put a little bit of doubt in Bomber's head, he's going to be maybe in a good position to make it happen.
All right, well, thank you very much, gents, for now. We're going to go back to our commentary team now of Apollo and Artosis for map number 4.
Thanks, guys. This could be a bit of a disappointing final for some if it goes 4-0 for Bomber, but who knows, man? We've seen it before. Sulky did it to Innovation, the reverse all kill. It could happen, and
that's right.
I think a big part of that comeback is, like Todd was saying, it has to get in their mind that they might lose, and they have to kind of fall apart a little bit. And I think Bomber actually has more pressure on him than Jaedong, right? Bomber does not have a lot of the things that Jaedong has, like the history, all the wins. He doesn't fly around as much. He doesn't have the big time name or salary. He kind of needs this win more than Jaedong does. So maybe
Bomber's experience over the StarCraft 2 tournament era, though, of many different tournaments, whether it be in America, whether it be in Europe, he's got a lot of experience back in him, and he is looking so straightforward and solid. It's like he cannot be stopped at this point. Jaedong has to get angry, man. He needs to start banging on the walls of those booths because he needs something to happen, and it has to happen on this next map. It is Whirlwind. It is map number 4. Can Bomber close it out 4-0? What a way to win the Season 2 finals if he was able to do that. Or can Jaedong make the comeback?
we'll be seeing in a second, Apollo. The map is loaded. It's going to be Bomber against Jaedong. It is match point for the rest of the series. And here we go into Whirlwind.
All right, down here, In the bottom left, spawning as the red Terran playing for Team Startail, it's Bomber!
And his opponent in the bottom right. Now, you guys make some noise in here for this guy, because this might be his last game in front of you here today. Make some noise for EG Jaedong!
Looking focused, Artosis. He's looking determined.
He is focused, he is determined. He is probably focusing the most he ever has in his entire life right now to be 4-0'd in the finals from this Terran player that he probably did not even expect to make it here. Jaedong does not want to let that occur.
He got 4-0'd against Polt weeks ago in the North American Premier League, and I'm sure that hurt him a lot. If it was to happen 2 times in a row, that was his last finals, his back-to-back finals, another 4-0 against a different Terran player. All of a sudden, a matchup there everybody thought Jaedong was doing okay in. Everyone was like, his Zerg versus Zerg's great. His Zerg versus Terran is also great. But he's gonna lose 8 maps in a row if Bomber closes this up.
That would be devastating, I do have to say, Apollo. So, you know, these StarCraft 2 Terrans, maybe they have Jaedong's number so far, but Jaedong doing his best here. I think we're going to see his absolute best play. He's chosen a strategy beforehand, I think. Do you think he's going to play reactive, or is he going to do XYZ?
I think he's going to play reactive in this game. XYZ, I think, is very risky for him, because if it doesn't work, it's just gone. And I think he believes in himself enough to play reactive. But look at these 2 builds, Artosis. 3 hatcheries before spawning pool. But what do you make of the 1 barracks into command center from Bomber here, which is something we don't see too often?
I think he's playing a little bit of a safer game, maybe expecting Jaedong to do something crazy, but what he's going to find is that Jaedong, in fact, the extent of his craziness is going for a double expand, something that is not really going to be punished here by Bomber.
Well, one thing that if Bomber throws down his gases soon as well, he can get a bit of a faster factory, faster Hellions out. But for the time being, he's decided to throw down a bunker on the outskirts of Jaedong's natural, which is very scary, by the way, because he's gone 3 hatcheries and the spawning pool's not even done yet. And Bomber says, yes, that's a lot of drones pulled off the line. I'll cancel that. Yep. Good for me.
And you know, just a little fake. I really do like moves like that. We used to see them a lot of the time, but Jaedong, because he did go 3 hatchery, maybe overreacted a little bit, but he doesn't want to lose to something silly like that this game.
Well, look at Bomber's build. He's changed it up once again. 3 barracks coming down, a single gas behind it.
Could this be the combat shield push that we saw yesterday?
I really think it could be here. The barracks are going to start building a lot of Marines nice and early on in this game. 1 refinery is enough to get a tech lab very soon, and then once that's done, of course, the combat shield upgrade can come in. Jaedong needs to identify this. He has an overlord not too far away from this.
Is he going to poke in, though? Is he going to see exactly what's going on? There's so many Marines here that I feel like he might not get in far enough to see that there's more than 1 barracks.
Well, he's going to see Marines, 4 Marines, but he can't tell what that is, really.
No, 4 Marines could have come out of that 1 racks. That makes it a bit harder, so.
This is a really, really solid position from Bomber, and I have a sinking feeling from Jaedong. It's coming over to me, Artosis, because I can see what's going on. I don't think that he could do well against this, unless it's identified. You need Zergling speed down. You may even need Banelings at this point.
You know what? I think the Banelings are actually probably the smartest thing here. Even a Roachhorn would be good, but the way that he's doing this build makes me think he might even do something like Evolution Chambers. We'll see in a minute, but if it's Evolution Chambers, then Bomber should, without any fight from Jaedong, be able to kill one of the bases.
Well, Bomber's hiding all these Marines on the high ground. Jaedong has a Zergling just outside, so if Bomber moves out, he will have one of the best reaction times. But where's Jaedong's gas going? Is it going to be Zergling speed? Yes, it is. That's part 1 of being able to deal with this. That's the start.
Yeah, that is actually a big deal that he's getting that. And in fact, it's going to finish up just about 30 seconds after combat shield. So that's not that big of a difference. But the thing is, Bomber is going to time this out just right. It's
okay.
Very scary.
A big question. Jaedong has spotted the 3rd command center. He's seen no Hellions.
Yeah, this is...
Surely, if he's going to make this comeback, this is one of the things he needs to do is identify what's going on. A scan goes down for Bomber, sees not much there, only drones on the way, and the Marines are waking their way out. Okay. 12 Zerglings. Maybe things are clicking here for Jaedong.
He needs more than 12 Zerglings to be made, though. He needs to make more Zerglings right this second. Couple more drones start. He doesn't know. He hasn't put the pieces together in this puzzle.
Uh-oh, and Jaedong's at 74 to 78. You can't even make that many more. And Bomber just walks straight up, and he's going to get a lot of damage done. All of a sudden, Jaedong's like, oh my god, Bailey Nest comes down. More overlords, more Zerglings are going to start their way to come out, but it may be too late here. This may be it.
He's going to get a lot of kills going after these drones right now. Quite a few falling down. The Queen's coming up to fight. The slow Zerglings coming in, but Combat Shield Marines going to be able to clean all this up so well.
26 Zerglings though so far. Not too many drones. One Queen may go down here, and it does fall down. Where are the rest Zerglings? Another Queen does fall in. Jaedong Zerglings are coming in. It looks like he's going to clean this up just about.
But still, so many kills by these Bomber Marines. This is a really hard situation right now for Jaedong. Gonna drill those drones through, and finally he cleans it up.
Loses 9 workers. Not that bad.
9 workers,
not
maybe
that bad. He's
a couple
still in the
queens,
lead.
some Zerglings,
couple of queens, yeah.
It was not as bad as it could have been, that is for certain.
But he's got 1-1 on the way, which is nice for him here. He's got the Bailey Nest down, the layer started up. I think that he dealt with that, considering the circumstances, pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Since he didn't know it was coming, it's a good thing that he had some Zerglings already, and he had a lot of queens and a reasonable creep spread to meet everything up. It's still a pretty good push by Bomber, though, I have to say. I don't think he's disappointed with it. Didn't do as much as maybe it should have, but he still did an okay job.
I mean, behind it, he's got 3 command centers, he's got his double engineering bay, and there's 3 tanks are coming in. I thought a little about these tanks, and I really do like the addition of these tanks, because a lot of games that Bomber's lost in the last couple of months have been to players like Roro and Symbol.
Yeah.
And the way that he's lost these games against very heavy roach bailing attacks at random times sometimes. And I think this makes a lot of sense to deal with these mid-game timings that often come out from Zerg players.
You know, it absolutely does. But Jaedong is showing us that he doesn't care for the unit that's called the Roach. Not in this matchup, at least, anyways. He's just focusing so heavily on his Zergling upgrades, on getting Mulus out. And look at this, Apollo. He has the 2-2 on the way before 1-1 finishes. He's delaying this third base reasonably well. He's getting Baneling Speed, Burrow, and the Spire. I'm kind of liking this for Jaedong now.
Yeah, I mean, he's set up quite nicely. He's really set up nicely. The 4th base is on its way as well as the main base macro hatchery he'll be using.
Well, you know, I think that this is going to be our best game for sure so far in this series. And by the fact that they're close to each other like this, Jaedong expanding up, those are bases that are going to be very hard for Bomber to hit. But that also means there's going to be a lot of pressure on his main production.
There's a lot of Zerglings on the way out now. There's already 14 Banelings here. I think without Zerglings, without Baneling Speed, I don't think it's that much of a problem here. He's on creep as long as the Baneling's connected to the Marines, but they're on the wrong side. They fall down before even touching the Marines.
Oh, that is so painful. A lot of Banelings falling down with so little damage done. Zerglings being hemorrhaged as well. A stim of these Marines into the third base. A lot of drones gonna fall. And let's not forget he has these medevacs to evacuate the Marines as well.
And Startail Bomber doing a lot of damage here to Jaedong, who drops to 80 supply. Reinforcements coming in from Jaedong, but Bomber's just gonna pick up and go back to his rest of his units. He's found an opening. He's found an opening here to the main base. He's got tanks and Marines on the third base as well. He could win this tournament right here.
He's up 40 supply, Apollo. The economy of Jaedong has fallen so low. His production as well. He's using up all his larvae constantly, and he's lost way too many workers as we see here.
And Bomber, what a performance in this final so far with 3 games in a row. Is he gonna ace the grand finals of the WCS Season 2 finals? Jaedong comes in for a defense. It's not bad at all, actually. He picks up a lot of those units, but still, he's losing inside his main base. Mulus are coming in, 2 upgrades coming in as well. Does Jaedong have what it takes to recover from losing a third base?
Well, you know what? He's playing against Bomber, who's really getting his macro up. It's not completely intact yet, so maybe he has a small chance, but it's getting very slim at this point.
Well, look at the income difference between both of these players, with Bomber up to 2,500 minerals per minute. That's going to be able to power a lot of Marines. 11 Marines per cycle with 3 more barracks on the way. 2 upgrades coming in for Bomber, excuse me, are going to equalize up these upgrades. I'm finding it difficult for Jaedong to make a comeback, and all I'm seeing is Bomber holding on to that StarCraft 2 trophy.
It's very likely, Apollo, but let's look at what Jaedong may be able to do to come back. He does have Burrow baneling landmines. If he gets several of those off very well, that could be helpful. Maybe he can sneak some banelings into that third base and kill some SCVs off, something like that. But, I mean, we can even see here with the worker supply, Bomber is killing him economically. Don't forget about mules on top of that.
That's right, man. A lot of units. And on the other side of the map, Bomber is building a large army with 14 Marines now. I just saw in that production tab. A lot of units. Very shortly, Bomber can unsiege and start to make a push out. A push out that Jaedong may not be able to hold on to. Down to 123 supply. Bomber searching for his first tournament victory in 2 years. That's such a long time.
2 years this weekend. It's almost fate, Apollo, that Bomber would win a tournament on that same exact weekend, and Jaedong will get yet another second.
And here it comes, Artosis. Here comes potentially the tournament-winning push from StarTale Bomber.
He's pushing forward. I think we're going to see a lot of scans used. He knows that Jaedong is fond of those burrowed banelings. He also knows he needs to clear up some of this creep. Here he comes, Apollo. This is scary.
He sees the army. He knows it's filtered in one direction. Jaedong is going to go in there very shortly. He needs to take a good fight, but I don't think it's possible. He's making 18 additional banelings. Can he do it? Can Jaedong hold on, or will Bomber close this up? 4-0, a remarkable performance.
Well, right now, Jaedong is down by about 50 supplies. Mutalisk coming in, and it's almost time for him to move. Still getting some more Zerglings out at the very last second. He needs to have as many units as possible when he engages.
All right, we'll see, because any moment now, Jaedong is going to pounce, but does he just get slapped down? And Jaedong is going to start to make his movement here. Bomber's going to push him. He's going to push him, and in comes Jaedong. But I feel that Bomber has way too many units here. The spread is amazing. The belly's coming from many different angles, but with the units coming in, Bomber sticks it. A 70 supply advantage. GG! 4-0 Artosis. 4-0.
Bomber is your WCS Season 2 champion. Make some noise for Bomber!
What a performance. What a performance.
Amazing play by this young man. Finally being on top once again. He played like a literal god here today, Apollo.
Some may say Bomber is a god, Artosis. A 4-0 versus Jaedong, who had an amazing tournament. Bomber so far has beaten Grubby, First, Scarlet, Tasia, before finally a 4-0 in the grand finals. $40,000 and 3,000 WCS points for Bombers, pushing him up that ranking. That's for the end BlizzCon Global Finals.
Well, Bomber now in a great position to make it to that finals, but this is the moment that he's been waiting for. His big victory is finally here, Apollo. He's won the hardest, the best tournament that we've had so far.
That's right, Bomber's previous tournament in 2011, an MLG, which if we look at the difficulty of StarCraft in 2011 to the difficulty of StarCraft 2 in 2013, there is a major difference. This is absolutely impressive from Bomber to do this.
It is indeed. Well, we're going to be having an interview with him in just a moment here to see how he feels. And I bet you, Apollo, it's like $1 million.
All he wants is that trophy at the end of the stage, Artosis. So let's hand it off to Red-Eyed Chobra and, of course, Bomber.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Artosis and Apollo. Fantastic. And congratulations to StarTale Bomber. Fantastic. Bomber, absolutely amazing final. 4-0, absolutely flawless. Explain to us in your words just what this means to you right now.
이번에 4대0으로 완벽한 결승 경기를 보여주셨는데 최지성 선수에게는 이게 어떤 의미인가요?
제가 거의 프리미어 리그는 2년 동안 거의 우승을 못했는데 정말 오랜만에 우승하는 거라서 정말 감회가 색다르고요. 네, 이번 우승을 계기로 해서 앞으로도 더 잘할 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
It's been about 2 years since I've won a final at a premier tournament, so it's just a brand new feeling to be standing on the stage, and I hope this marks a new age for me as a player. Startail Bomber, give it for this guy once again, your WCS Season 2 champion. 자, 4대 0으로 이기셨지만 셋째 게임 때 전진 벙커 러쉬를 하셨어요. 전략적으로 그때 그냥 기세가 있었기 때문에 그냥 그때 빨리 더 3대 0으로 만들어야겠다 그런 생각을 하셨던 건가요?
그 전략은 스칼렛 선수한테 쓰려고 했었는데 스칼렛 선수가 맵을 제외하는 바람에 못 썼고요. 그리고 3경기에 매치하면 심리적으로 괜찮을 것 같아서 썼어요.
And the triple bunker rush, asking about that, he says, I actually planned that for Scarlet, but the map was eliminated during map vote, so I had to save it up for the final match, and it worked out, and I got to pick that map number 3, worked out in my favor timing-wise, and got that momentum for a 3-0.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to keep him any much longer. Would you like to go and collect your trophy?
트로피 받아주세요.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WCS Season 2 champion is Startail Bomber! Ladies and gentlemen, for your champion of Season 2 of the World Championship Series, Startail Bomber! And while he gets his picture taken, that is it, ladies and gents, from the WCS Season 2 finals. It's been a terrific season through 3 regions, through Korea, through America, and through Europe. We finally crown a champion with $40,000 and the StarCraft trophy to boot. Startail Bomber is your champion for Season 2. Thank you so much for tuning in over the weekend. Thank you for supporting StarCraft, and thank you to all the guys at ESL backstage, and of course to our friends at Blizzard. Thank you so much for creating a fantastic game. We'll see you in Season 3!